Ecclesiastes chapter 2, there is some disagreement about who wrote Ecclesiastes. Most people think that it was King Solomon who wrote Ecclesiastes, but that's not for sure, for certain. But listen to what the writer of Ecclesiastes says in Ecclesiastes 2, beginning in verse 12. He says, "So I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and madness, for who can do this better than I, the king? I thought, wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. Yet I saw that the wise and the foolish share the same fate. Both will die. So I said to myself, since I will end up the same as the fool, what's the value of all my wisdom? This is all so meaningless. For the wise and the foolish both die. The wise will not be remembered any longer than the fool. In the days to come, both will be forgotten. So I came to hate life, because everything done here under the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind." So this section, we've been making our way through Ecclesiastes in a series I entitled Life Without God. Last week, we looked at the fact that whoever the writer was pursued pleasure with all of his might, thinking that pleasure would bring meaning to his life, and he found that it didn't. Well, this section is all about the pursuit of wisdom, but it's what he says in verse 17 that hit me hard. "So I came to hate life, because everything done here under the sun is so troubling." His exasperation resonates with me. I know that feeling. I have felt that way at different times. He's looking high and low for something to make sense, something in this world that satisfies, something meaningful, something that connects the dots, and he can't find it. He's looking under every rock. He's looking behind every tree, and he realizes in his search that pleasure comes and goes, meaning comes and goes, feelings of worth come and go. You win today and you lose tomorrow. Everything is transient. Nothing is ultimately catchable. Nothing lasts. Life is a cruel game of chasing after the wind, he says. Something that you can sense but can never catch. People who have dared to look beneath the surface of things have come to the same conclusion as the writer of Ecclesiastes. People who are brave enough to dive deep, not only into their own hearts, but under the surface of the things in this life. Honest poets and philosophers throughout history have ended up in the same place as the writer of Ecclesiastes. Emil Cioran, who was a Romanian philosopher, once said this: "I have the same feeling of not belonging, of futility, wherever I go. I pretend interest in what matters nothing to me. I rouse myself mechanically or out of charity without ever being caught up, without ever being somewhere. What attracts me is elsewhere, and I don't know where that elsewhere is." Honest. I read that this week, and it reminded me of something that I wrote back in 2017. I wrote this: "I often feel like a man without a home, a wanderer trying to find a recognizable sight or sound, something that I used to know." Have you ever felt like that? Shakespeare said it perhaps most poetically and honestly. He said, Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. This morning, as I was looking through stuff, I read this. Sad, depressing, but so often the way so many people feel. Life feels so pointless and hard. I don't know who wrote this. Life feels so pointless and hard. Every day I wake up in hell. We're born, we have to work our whole lives, and then we die. And whenever I stop and think of the small things, it's still pointless. There is a despair, a homelessness, a nagging thirst that no water in this world can quench that inevitably accompanies a life without God. Inevitably. C.S. Lewis, I quoted this a couple weeks ago, but C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Human history is the long, terrible story of humans trying to find something other than God which will make them happy." That's Ecclesiastes. It's exactly what Ecclesiastes is about. I've said this when I started the series. I said that if I were to give this series a subtitle, it would simply be The Search. The search for meaning, the search for significance, the search for love, the search for contentment, the search for satisfaction. The writer to Ecclesiastes is searching high and low, searching, like so many of us on a daily basis, like so many people throughout history.